80 years ago, noted French physician and missionary Dr. Albert Schweitzer wrote, "Pain is a more terrible lord of mankind than even death itself." I'd have to say you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone today living with chronic pain, daily pain, that would disagree with Dr. Schweitzer. I've had chronic pain for nearly 30 years as a result of a number of unsuccessful back surgeries. And to be perfectly honest, I have to say probably about the first 5 to 8 years of my own diagnosis, before I understood exactly what was going on, stopped blaming myself, did my research on what pain is. It's a complex issue, let me tell you. I can remember being in bed and saying, "God, please take me. I can't do another minute of this. I can't do another hour of this. I can't do another week of this." Chronic pain is hell. It's this constant, energy-draining, loud, soul-destroying monster that can ruin your life. Chronic pain is a taker, a thief in the night, a thief in the day, robbing you of memory, concentration, sleep, nutrition, a productive work life, financial stability, and relationships with family and friends. It is with you 365 days of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It causes more stress on the human body and is associated with the worst quality of life next to other chronic conditions, including heart disease and cancer. Yet despite what I've just said, we continue to suffer in silence. Sadly, it is deemed a silent epidemic. In the early days after my own diagnosis, I never heard of anyone being in constant pain, unless of course it was related to a cancer, diabetes, amputation, and so forth. I soon learned through personal experience and my own research that you not only paid a high price physically if you had daily pain, but emotionally as well. Here you could be labeled a wimp, a wuss, a malingerer, a person craving attention, drug-seeking, and even crazy. The stigma associated with pain is that it's a sign of weakness. How many times have we heard, "Suck it up, no pain, no gain"? Socially, you can be shunned by your family and your friends. Here then are just a few examples of statements directed at me that further illustrate the stigma and social consequences of pain. These statements were hurtful, made me sad, made me cry, made me feel worthless, and in some cases increased my pain. First one, I worked tirelessly after my third back surgery to try to get back to work, a job that I really loved, but it was not meant to be. And I received a letter in the mail one day from my medical team and the insurance company stating that despite my Herculean type effort, I laughed when I read that, I was deemed unemployable for full and part-time work. For months after that letter, I found myself walking in my apartment out in the street saying, "I'm unemployable. Me, I'm unemployable." I just couldn't get that through my head. I felt broken. Another time, my pain level was through the roof for about a 3-day period, and this happens quite often with chronic pain. And I hadn't slept a wink, and I couldn't keep water down. I was so nauseated. The pain just makes you nauseated like you'd never believe. I couldn't take my pain meds, of course. I was getting desperate. So I went to the ER for pain control. As I was leaving my apartment, I looked in the mirror, the hallway, and I was shocked at how sickly I looked. I looked dead. I was white as a ghost. I had sunken eyes. God Almighty, I said to myself, "Karen, just put a little lipstick on. You'll feel better. Better psychologically anyway." Well, this was definitely not a smart move on my part. As I was on the gurney in the hospital, I checked in, and I was praying to God, "Please help me and hurry up, get in here." I heard the nurses commenting about the fact that I was wearing lipstick, and they commented that it was fresh lipstick too. Now the hospital was just 2 blocks away from me, so it was pretty fresh lipstick. That I couldn't be in that much pain if I bothered to put lipstick on. The conversation went on a bit, and 2 more people joined in, a couple of nurses, maybe a couple of doctors. And then it snowballed into, quick, quick, check the computer to see if she's a druggie. And I'm listening to this. I can't believe what I'm hearing. See if she's a druggie. It was also a Friday night, not a good night. Weekends are a terrible place to be in an ER. Bad timing. You know what I did? I got out of that gurney and I sat up. In pain that I was in, I left in disgust and in tears. One time a family member commented that I was coming through my door. What's in your hand, he said. Is that a prescription? Oh, you don't need that, Karen. You just need to get on your treadmill. You know, you used to do it all the time. That'll fix you right up. My cousin came to see me and brought his new wife with him. And she said, Wayne tells me, you know, you can't work because of your pain. Well, my mother has fibromyalgia, and she works full time. So Karen, like, what's wrong with you? You don't look like you're hurting. You look too good to be in pain. You look too healthy to have pain. You can't be in that much pain because you're pretty cheerful every time I see you. Gee, Karen, I saw you walking rather briskly a couple of days ago, even with your cane, and today you're pretty crippled up. How can you be so good one day and so bad the next? In social situations, social occasions, I love this. I would introduce myself to people. Well, obviously, not their dogs, but people. And I'd shake their hand and say, hello, I'm Karen Smith. They'd reply, well, I'm so-and-so. Almost immediately, they'd ask, so what do you do, Karen? I'd say, well, I do volunteer work. They'd say, no, what do you do? Again, I'd say, I do volunteer work. No, what's your job, for heaven's sakes? What do you do for a living? Finally, I'd give them a little more information and say, I do chronic pain advocacy work. Pain? What do you mean pain? Can't you take a pill for that? Gee, it must be nice if you don't have to work. Gee, it must be nice to have a fat bank account. This last little scenario happened a couple of months ago. And here I am, swearing never to go back in an ER, and I was in an ER 2 months ago. Nothing much has changed. I had surgery and developed complications after the surgery, so I had to go to the ER to get checked out. I had my armband and everything, and I was walking down the hall to go into one of the little rooms. And with my spinal problem, I just dropped to the floor very quickly. The nerve gets compressed, the S1 nerve gets compressed, and I go down. Of course, this happened in the hospital. Well, maybe not a bad place for that to happen, except they have marble floors. So when I hit pay dirt, I crunched everything I owned. Anyway, 2 paramedics picked me up right away, and they felt terrible, and I was trying to tell them what had happened. So I finally got in the gurney, and we haven't addressed my original problem. And my leg was spasming on the gurney, and this very young physician came in, and he said, I'm Bruce. Hi, Bruce. Didn't say anything else. I said, listen, before we do anything else, you see my leg is in spasm. I had a terrible fall just around the corner. I said, I have breakthrough pain medicine. It's not with me, but I had prescriptions and a letter from my doctor and everything else, so they would understand my meds and my condition a little better. He said, I said, I take 8 milligrams of this certain medicine when I have breakthrough pain up to 3 times a day. And he said, no, you mean 2 milligrams. And I said, no, it's 8 milligrams. He said, no, you mean 2. I said, no, I mean 8. And at this point, I thought maybe I wasn't talking well, or I had a stroke. My lips weren't moving, because we had this back and forth. Very stressful. 2, 8, 2, 8. And when I was thinking in my head, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? That was going on in my head, because I had to try to find a little bit of humor in what was taking place. And I sat up, continued my conversation with this doctor. And he said, well, I don't know, you know, but if I go and ask the nurse for this medicine. You know, Karen, she's just going to yell at me. And I'm thinking, where am I? The nurses are yelling at the doctors are yelling at the patients. What the hell's going on? I couldn't believe what I heard. Then I was petrified. But I also said to him, Bruce, I do chronic pain advocacy work, and I think I'll be doing this work till the day I die, because pain management has not evolved since I was in an ER 25 years ago. The questions, the not believing was hurtful. Anyway, so he's going out to get the nurse. I'm having a fit. My heart's going 50 miles an hour, thinking, oh my God, I got to do this all again. The nurse is going to come in, and nurses sometimes scare me more than the doctors. Anyway, I heard him talking to the nurse, so I was ready for the battle. Now, as I said, I still didn't get treated for my original problem. Anyway, I was scared to death, I have to admit. Going, oh my God, you did it this time, Smitty. How are you going to get out of this one? I was very pleasant talking to him, of course. Anyway, the nurse comes in, and I'm like, holding my breath, and she brought me my medicine, and she said, here, Karen, I hope that helps. Well, I just said, thank you so much. Anyway, I took my medicine, but a half hour later, my leg calmed down. We could deal with the other issue. That was not a pleasant experience. Really, not much has changed. Pain is indeed a complex issue, but for the 1 in 5 Canadians diagnosed with chronic pain, to be believed, to have one's pain validated, is a real game changer psychologically. I heard a doctor who specializes in pain management say, this is what I tell my med students. Here are the ABCs of pain management, or a 3-point plan. 1, assess. 2, believe. 3, care for your patient. Well, my 3-point plan, or my 1, 2, 3s, are music, which I love, humor, which I love, Three Stooges, the whole bit, and medicine. Medication, rather. For those of you currently in pain management, I thank you. For those of you thinking of working in pain management, we need you now more than ever. The silence and stigma associated with chronic pain has to end. And we must work hard, or harder, to ensure that this serious public health issue become front and center in the minds of all healthcare professionals, politicians, and the Canadian public. Thank you.